Our next speaker will be Stephen Chandler, to be followed by Richard Chow and then Peter Pacer. Mr. Chandler, go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Stephen Chandler. I represent City World Auto Group. I pretty much just sell TLC vehicles, obviously including the wheelchair vehicles. I wanted to speak on two matters. The funds being paid directly to the dealership is, a slight concern. I'd like to try to keep it to the medallion owner itself. There's basically two ways the monies would be used by the medallion owner. It'd be as a down payment. Future monies couldn't be used for down payments. Banks don't allow that. So it becomes an issue if somebody needs a $30,000 down payment. Here's 10, Steve, and you'll get your 20 in 4 months or 5 months. I couldn't tell a bank that, I'm including money for a down payment for something that I may or may not see in 4 to 5 months. So then we would have to go to, the lowering the overall cost of the vehicle up front. And then that's where it really becomes the dealership becoming a business partner with the medallion owner, as we're going to sell a car at a large loss, and then hopefully in the future be able to recoup those monies. Not to mention if there's an issue with a medallion or, an owner owes funds or anything like that, there could be some instances where we're kind of required to pay it so that we're not losing, tens of thousands of dollars there. So it would really make the dealership have to float, probably $4 to $5 million before they started recouping when this program would start. And the cash flow of the dealership, I don't know if it supports it. And then the other thing would be, with the WAV requirements in terms of years, it's a smaller subject that not a lot of people think about, but when we order these vehicles, we order them maybe once, if we're lucky, twice a year, and it would be very hard to know how many to order for any given year with no retirement dates whatsoever, which would force us to either order very small amounts so that we pay hundreds of thousands in interest per month on these vehicles. So if something were to happen where half the vehicles I've ordered take 2 years to sell, that it would be very hard for us to survive.
30 seconds remaining.
So that would be my concern. Obviously, there's a monetary concern for us, but in all honesty, a lot of these cars we sell, we sell in the red just to keep the business flowing for the times where we could sell in the black. This would make the risk for us maybe have to raise prices to overcome that risk. So that's that. That was my concerns. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you. Okay, let's try Lee Komitor. Lee Komitor, you can unmute your mic and begin.
I'm speaking. Good morning. Good morning, Chairman Doss and distinguished commissioners. My name is Lee Komitor of Koeppel Ford. I have been a car dealer and supplier of New York City taxi cabs for over 40 years to the New York City taxi industry, and I'm here to respond to the change of rules regarding the process of allocation funds from the TIF. My questions is as follows. Where in the city budget is money being allocated for this program as each city agency is being dramatically cut? What happens if there's insufficient funds? As being proposed, the TLC would affect us. That would be an advantage. The cash flow of any business, as per our obligation with a dealer agreement on each vehicle at time of delivery, must be paid off when the vehicle leaves the dealership. Each vehicle would be a $20,000 in receivable. How would the dealership be eligible for this money if the medallion owner or the leasing company if the medallion is in some type of problem? The vehicle it should be paid by the end user, and it should not be the responsibility of the dealership. We understand that through the dealership that many of our clients have significant problems with reimbursement. Where are we guaranteed the money to be had? What would delay the reimbursement process? If the medallion has any outstanding issues, what would delay the process of payment to us? Can someone please answer these questions?
Lee, I'll try to answer some of those questions. So thank you so much for your comments. The money comes from the TIF fund, which is $1, and it stands for the Taxi Improvement Fund, and it's $1 per meter trip. So that's where the cash flow comes in. With 3.2 million trips a month, it's about a $3.2 million revenue for this fund to be pushed back for accessibility initiatives. We'll talk more with you on what the grant looks like, but we are imagining it as a point of sale grant where that can be used for the driver to use as a down payment, or to the wheelchair converter to assist in lowering the costs up front. I've heard from many drivers and from many industry stakeholders that there is a lack of capital. And so we want to leverage our TIF fund to help those who don't have the upfront capital for a down payment or otherwise.
I understand that, but we need to understand one thing. When the vehicle leaves here, our financial agreement with our lender, which floor plans our vehicles, once the vehicle leaves here, we have to pay this off. Are we going to be paid prior to process of delivery?
Yeah, so like I said, it's a point of sale, and we can talk to you a little bit more in depth after this hearing.
Well, that one I would appreciate, because I understand, like I said prior, most of our clients are telling me that it takes 4 to 5 months to be reimbursed. And
Right.
how do we know that there's not an issue on the medallion of the vehicle, or the medallion are eligible for payment?
So that's why we're doing it up front at the point of sale. But again, we'll talk more after this, Mr. Komitor. I appreciate your comments today. Thank you.
Our agreement with our lenders, who floor plans our vehicles, once the vehicle leaves the curb, we have to pay this vehicle off. I would be in non-compliance, which would be a significant issue.
We can talk, again, Mr. Komitor, we can talk the details, but not in a public forum like this. And then we'll try to assist and make the transition as smooth as possible. But I've also heard from, and then we'll go on to our next speaker, but I've also heard from the industry that they still would like an opportunity for the reimbursable grant portion of this. And so we're thinking about it's an either or proposition and not one or the other. All right, thank you. We can go to the next speaker, Cheryl.